are in Shoftim, chapter 11. We'll start again, verse 1. Yiftach Giladi, and Yiftach the Giladite, Hayagibor Chayil, he was a strong, valiant person. Vahu ben Isha Zonah, and he was the son of the Zonah. Vayoled Gilad at Yiftach, and Gilad begot Yiftach. Okay, fine. Vateled Eshet Gilad Labanim. So the wife of Gilad bore him sons. Vegdulu b'nei Isha, and the children of the woman grew. Vayagashu et Yiftach, and they drove out Yiftach. Vayomer lo, and they said to him, Lo tinchal b'beit avinu, you will not inherit in the house of our fathers. Ki ben Isha acheret ata, because you are the son of another woman. So you understand what's going on here? Yiftach is a valiant man, which probably means he had money. That's because otherwise what we'll be fighting about. And I don't know if anybody says that actually, but that's clearly what it's referring to. Just curious, does anybody say that? We'll see. And then what happens is, so with that Zonah, he has Yiftach. Then Gilad has a real wife. And what's the difference between a concubine and a wife? For all intents and purposes.
Inheritance, yeah. Inheritance.
Besides that, I'm saying, what's the difference in relationships? So the concubine would not have a ketubah, and the wife would have a ketubah. So that is the practical difference of what's going on. Now he brings down, we went through this whole thing the last time, so I'll just run right through it. When he says the son of a harlot woman, is simple interpretation falls. The Mitzvah David, who explains Gilad begat Yiftach, as stressing that although Yiftach's mother was a harlot, it was nevertheless certain that Gilad begot him. So that's clear. We know that Gilad's the father. Radak mentions that she was a concubine, and in contrast to the regular wife, she was called a Zonah. That's also a major thing. Targum Yonatan renders her as an innkeeper. Again, that's one who sells foodstuffs. Ralbag explains that she was from a different tribe from her husband Gilad. It was a common practice to discourage such intermarriage, since it would cause an inheritance to be transferred from one tribe to another. Thus, she acted improperly and was called a Zonah. However, this term is not mentioned in reference to Shimshon's mother, since she was not a heiress, as was Gilad's wife. So Gilad, okay, so now she has the other one, Yiftach, and they drove Yiftach out. Explains that this occurred because Gilad had already died. So they want to. So now what happens is they want to inherit. So they drive him out. For you are a son of another woman. All the commentators mentioned above interpret according to their commentaries. Mr. David explains that although Yiftach's mother was actually a harlot, they did not refer to her as such out of respect to their father. According to all the interpretations, Yiftach's brothers were wrong in denying him an inheritance. The only time they would be wrong, by the way, is if you just go by the regular understanding of Zonah, which would be a prostitute. But if she's really a Jewish woman, then by rights, the child is Jewish, and he took her. And like the one who says that she was from another tribe. The Ralbach says she was from another tribe. So she would still, that child would be proper to inherit, so they would have been wrong to kick him out. That's what he's saying. That's what the digest here is pointing out. So now what we have is the Malbim, very quickly. It says, V'yola Gilad at Yiftach Rosalimo B'kol Zeh Yadu HaKol. So everybody would know that the Gilad was the one who bore him, and because he was along with the Pelegish. Now, if she's a Pelegish, by the way, if the Pelegish, it has to be a non-Jew at that point. A Pelegish cannot be a Jew.
Who were these Giladim? He was
Giladite? Gilad.
What is it?
Gilad was the father.
Huh?
Gilad was the father.
Right.
So you're of the family of Gilad, Gileadite.
Oh, that's just saying
Canaanite
that was his
is
father. That was his,
right. Canaanite would be the son of Canaan.
Oh.
Right. Or the children, or the descendants of Canaan. So here, Gilad.
That's not another territory or country or tribe or anything. It's just it's son of that person.
Correct. So whether or not it ever became a township, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first verse seems to stress that Yiftach it said twice that he's the son of Gilad.
Right. Because it's stressing that Gilad was the father.
Yeah, okay.
In other words, if she's a real Zona, then how do you know that Gilad's the father? Right? If she's a real Zona, so anybody could be the father, and she could he's a rich man, why not go to him? I mean, let's face it, you see it many times in the world of Hollywood, where these people become big stars, and next thing you know, suddenly one of their paramours come and say, "You are the father of my child." So we have to have a paternity test and so on and so forth to determine whether it's true. Now, it just shows you, by the way, the immorality of Hollywood. Not to get onto a whole thing about Hollywood, but the immorality of the 60s and of Hollywood was that a child could come at 20 years old and say, "You had relations with my mother, and she told me that you're my father." And then you have to, and the only reason the guy has to have a paternity test is not because he really needs it, and he could just kick the kid away, kick the kid to a curb. The fact is that he was immoral, and he did have premarital sex. So, and he doesn't know who he had it with. Could have been with his mother, could have been with 1,000 women. How does he know? Could have been with married women. He doesn't know what he had. That's the point. When if you're in that sort of a world where you're having relations with anything that walks, so then a child can't come to you. So here so that's what I'm saying. The Zona, if she really is a Zona, so she's having relations with a lot of men, why would Gilad, even though he had relations with her, which wouldn't have been good anyway, so an immorality on that part, but let's say he would have had relations with her, what's the proof that that child is actually hers? So the Tanakh is coming to say it was his father. He was the father, testifying straight out. He's the father.
Why are they saying that she's a Zona then? I mean, why are the interpreters interpreting it as we talked last week? It could mean some other things.
Well, again, you want to say that because for the straight text, let's go straight text.
Yeah.
Straight text, pshat, Zona is a prostitute. Yeah. Okay. That's straight text. Okay, and anybody who wants to argue against that would have a big problem. But
we did in Yoshua that we argued against that.
I'm saying no, but even there, straight text is straight text. Rachav was a Zona. Was she an innkeeper and she opened herself up? All these questions can come into it. It wasn't a moral system. It was very immoral. Okay? It was like the madam of the old, the West, or even, I guess now even you have madams. Yeah. I don't know if they still call them madams anymore, but I'm going from my old Westerners.
Yeah, they probably call it something politically correct.
There you go. But, right. So, the pimps, that's what they're called. Okay. But the question is, if I'm in that sort of a business, so again, my morals, I'm going to defend them for 1 second. They may have a very high moral structure, but the business that they're in gives them a very low morals picture. Yeah. Now, as we see people in certain fields as, think about how we call them blue collar, white collar, and so on. So a white collar crime versus blue collar crime. Last I checked, it was still crime. Okay, so it's still wrong. The point is, it's still wrong. So why do I care if it's white collar or blue collar? It shouldn't really matter. But we like to identify. We like to put things in boxes. So, and furthermore, let's even go further. I'll be racial at this point. If you see a black guy and a white guy, and you see a crime committed, your initial reaction incorrectly, by the way, should be that the black guy did it. No matter how sophisticated he is, we're going to say he's a criminal, right? And again, that's our prejudice that works into that. So the same thing could be here with the Zona. She may be an innkeeper, and she may be a very moral, upstanding human being, brought up with the greatest of morals. But because of the business she's in, we automatically assume she's doing the other side of that. So that could be the other problem, where I'm looking at this and saying Yiftach was the son of Gilad, the son of a Ish Zona, whatever that Ish Zona is. It could be somebody who turned aside, could it be an innkeeper, could it be an actual prostitute. The point is that Yiftach is his father.
Yeah.
Gilad is Yiftach's father. That's all we have to identify, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. And so Tanakh is testifying to that. Mm-hmm. This is definitely his father, and that's why we're going to have a problem when the kids push him away. Yeah. And that's what we're going to, and furthermore, all the way down the list. Okay. Yeah. Well, we really want to identify who he is. So the Malbim continues, and it says V'teiled Isha Eshad Gilad. So, like I said, the difference between an Isha, a wife, and a Zona or a concubine is that the wife has a chuppah and kedushin. You make a big party for her.
That's what the other sons are arguing about.
We had a chuppah kedushin.
You're not in the line of inheritance.
Correct. You don't have chuppah kedushin. Your wife, your mother was a concubine. Now again, that only applies if she's a non-Jew.
He didn't have that bond of marriage.
Correct.
And therefore, he's not entitled to anything.
Correct. Correct. That's what they're arguing. You will not inherit with us. But the Malbim says this was not proper. Because he argues that the Pelegish does inherit with the rest of the brothers, which is, by the way, a chiddush to me. I never would have said that a son of a Pelegish should inherit. That's like saying, by the way, let's look at this. I don't know where he gets it from. And this goes out for the audience, because that wouldn't say that Yishmael and all of Avram's 6 other children. So Avram altogether had 8 boys. 6 of Keturah, 1 of Hagar, and a Sarah. And then a girl. So, okay, fine. So, but the girl, it's only known midrashically. Fine. We'll leave that alone. Pshat-wise, simple pshat, simple text, Avram had 8 boys. Only 1 inherits from him spiritual and land, namely Yitzchak, because Hashem says that's how it's going to work. Keturah, both Keturah and Hagar are referred to as Pelegesh. So, and that's why it says Pelagshim. These are the children of the Pelagshim. Yet they don't receive anything. So it's I'm not sure where the Malbim is learning that a Pelegesh, the children of Pelegesh, should inherit. Because by his logic, unless you want to say, by his logic, Yishmael and the other 6 should have inherited with Yitzchak. Unless you want to argue, and this is what I guess he would have to argue, is Hashem said no to those 7 others. Okay? I have a lot of people who listen to these things, I've noticed, that want to always ask me about either they're Christians or they're Muslims sometimes. So they always want to ask me these questions. I'm saying very clearly that
the Torah is very specific about
that there are 8 children for Abraham, not just 2.
But it's very specific about the inheritance goes to Yitzchak.
Yeah. It says that that's all that's going to happen. So it could be that that's what's happening here, and that's why the Malbim is talking in general sense. But again, I never heard of a Pelegish inheriting, because the Pelegish is not Jewish. And so the child is not Jewish. Child is the son of a Pelegish. Leave me alone. So, like I said, it's very interesting that he's arguing this. I'm not sure where he gets it from. And then he says, that which they drove Yiftach from the city, this was an act of stealing, as will be explained. You're looking at Pelegesh? Palag comes from Palag, which is half a wife, basically. Okay. By the way, it would only work. So he says. So that's what the Radak is also arguing. that just to run through quickly, he says that the Ben Peleg, she was called a Zona because she did not have a ketubah or kedushin with her husband, and so like I said, I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to look further into that, to say who says that they get it, that a son of a Pelegish will get anything. So I don't know. Okay, let's go on. Let's just say you should have the whole argument in your mind. Okay, because he's even arguing that they were wrong to deny. And again, the only time they would be wrong is if it's a Jewish mother. So you have a couple of ways to say it's a Jewish mother, but normally Pelegish is a non-Jewish mother. Normally. Again, I can't say every single case. And the only times it would make sense that they could sue her, that they'd be wrong, is if she's from a different tribe, Ralbag style, or she's an innkeeper, again, Jewish. There's no way you could do it. Okay, let's go on. Vayivrach Yiftach mipnei echav. So Yiftach flees from before his brothers, Vayesha be'eretz tov, and he lived in the land, it's either a good land, or he says a land of tov. Okay, Vayilaktu el Yiftach anashim reikim, and they collected to Yiftach these empty men, Vayatsu imo, and they went with him. It's a very interesting here. This thing was saying that they collected empty men. And there was the lowlifes. So what happens? The Mitzudas David says, from different places, they went to him wherever he went. Okay, how does he translate it? He says, the idle men, they translate that.
Empty,
okay.
Had nothing to do, in other words.
Well, normally, an ish rake, just to understand, an ish rake is a lowlife. As a matter of fact, it's interesting, if I remember my Shakespeare well, which I don't, but a rake was somebody who was a playboy.
It was used in Old English?
Yeah, a rake was a playboy, right? In Shakespearean English. He's a rake. He's a lowlife. He just wants to take women. What we call a playboy today. Or what we used to call playboy. I don't know what to call him today. But I remember, the only reason I know is because my wife, because she's the expert in this. But if I remember correctly, rake is the English word for that. So it would be interesting if that word came from here, straight from here. Just a straight translation. Not even translation, just going over to it. Rake. But a rake is really an empty person, or somebody who's devoid of anything. And so they call it idle man, but it's really, that's a bad translation. It doesn't capture the word. So he says, Vayivrach v'zeh morish aratzu lahargo. Why did he run? It teaches that they wanted to kill him. And so much so that he was forced to run. And Ziknei Ir, and what happened? The people of the city, they didn't do justice. They weren't correct. And I was, okay, you want to kick the guy out, maybe. And even there you were wrong. But according to the Malbim. But to make him have to leave the city, that was 100% no good. Okay. Then, Be'eretz Tov, Adon Ha'aretz. So the Radak, by the way, looks at this Eretz Tov. Again, it could have been, I said, good land or land of Tov. So he says, Adon Ha'aretz, the master of the land, Haya Shemo Tov. His name was Tov. Land of Tov. Okay. Fine. So we have a place called Tov out there. Good luck finding it. Okay, I can see the ads now. Come here, it's Tov.
It's good.
Right?
That's where the name Tovia and Tuvia come from, yeah?
Yeah, good with Tuvia is good with God. Tuvia.
And what about Tovia?
Same word.
Same, okay.
Yeah, truth is Tuvia. I don't think there is such a name, Tuvia. I think it's always Tovia.
Really?
Yeah, but like Moshe became Moshe. So,
but that's the Hasidic pronunciation.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen a Tuvia
Okay.
And I've seen Tovia. I've never seen Tuvia.
Tovia
So-
Singer. Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying, I'm not talking about
in
in Tanakh. So if somebody, I mean, I haven't gone.
Interesting.
I've gone through the whole Tanakh. I never looked for it to say that, but it's that would be something.
Tangentially, my brother over Shlomo name literally is Shlomo, but he was always Shlema.
Shlema, yeah.
And I always ask questions. Okay, my name is Moshe. How come I'm not Mesha? Yeah. But my second name is Tuvia.
Yeah. So your first name Moshe, probably it depends on where you would be. Would have been Moshe, or
So
Mesha.
They call my brother Shlema instead of Shlomo.
Yeah, but so
Why didn't they call me Moshe or Mesha?
you.
Nobody else.
They probably didn't think about it, because they would have. It depends on how you were brought up, though.
The spelling of it is so obvious that
No. That's it. No, because
Moshe.
again, Moshe. People still say Moshe, Moshe.
Yeah.
So, and I have heard, by the way, Mesha.
Yeah.
I have heard that.
That's turning from an O to an Oi to an A.
I've heard all the different pronunciations.
Yeah. That's why Shlema's why not Shloimo? It's become Shlema.
Yeah. Again, you're asking on why people destroy their name. I can't answer that.
Watch kids on a playground, what they do with each other's name.
Oh yeah.
That's true, but that's different, because here what we're looking at is pronunciation. And so depending on how you were brought up, or which part of the world you were brought up in, you would always pronounce words like that. In other words, instead of Baruch, it would be Brich.
Yeah.
No, but
Amen with the Umain.
Umain, right? Something like that. Amen is Umain, and then Bodich, and then, but they say something else. Barchis instead of Barchu. And you're trying to figure out, what are you talking about? And I mean, you get used to anything. You can get used to anything. Once I understand what you're doing, then I can understand it, and I can. If I'm with you long enough, I will be able to speak your language. It was like what my father ran into. My father spoke, because he was German, spoke fluent German. He comes to America, and he's dealing with the Jews from Poland or something. So they only speak Yiddish. Yiddish, while it's close to German, it's not German. And more than that, the pronunciation sometimes is very much off from the German. And so my father had to figure out what they were talking about. It becomes a real interesting situation, because their language of was machst du is in German was tust du. So when you hear was machst du, you think, what are you doing? And really they're asking you, how are you? And so was tust du is, what are you doing? Fine. And then they have a whole bunch of other things that just get mixed up. So but that's what would be happening here with your name. And in certain circles, you would be Mesha.
Yeah.
Mesha Tuvia.
Yeah.
Or Tivia, I don't know how they're doing.
Oh, like in the, what do you call it? Tevya in the movie.
Tevya is also.
Yeah.
Tevya,
Yeah.
Tovia.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all the same. I have to assume it's all the same. Because you have to look at how they spell Tevya. How they spell Tevya, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like Naomi. It's just all the same name.
Yeah.
It's all spelled the same. So there's one thing that can't mess up: my name. F-R-E-D. It can't change. Fred. Can't mess it up. Okay. Now let's go on.
Yeah.
So what happened? Like I said, so he changed. Fine. And by he miyamim. It was after some days. So here we go. Now they have to start Ikro. So it was after some days, or many days, he says. I don't know how he gets that. Many days, but fine. Vayelachamu b'nei Ammon im Yisrael. And b'nei Ammon fought with Yisrael. So the Mesilas David says, Ma shalachim b'nei Ammon im Yisrael haya misof yamim rabim. Was at the end of many days. After they drove out Yiftach. And again, the Malbim will say the same thing. Vaya miyamim, it was after from the days she'esek hazeh nimshach yamim rabim, that after this deed many days were passed until Bnei Ammon finally fought with them. Fine, so they're fighting with him. Vayi kashi nilchamu Bnei Ammon in Israel, and it was when Bnei Ammon fought with Yisrael. V'elchu ziknei Gilad. So now the elders of Gilad went lakachad Yiftach me'eretz Tov, to take Yiftach from the land of Tov. They wanted to convince him to come back home and to fight with them. And here more lamala. This is, so Rashi says. By the way, this is what was said above. Oh, that's all I'm saying. Said above. It doesn't finish it. It didn't finish this. Oh, okay. This is above. Fine. So what happens? Here, the Malbim continues. Vayikasher nilchamu, and it was when the fighting took place. The Bnei Ammon were fighting. Wants to say lo mitzad Yosher. It wasn't because they decided that they're going to be just with this. Vechaziru Yosher is. It's interesting. Again, this becomes a Yiddish word. Yosher is I want to be proper with you. You ever hear that in Yiddish? Yosher. See, you wouldn't hear that in German. Yosher, that's what I'm saying. That Yiddish is an amazing language. It mixes Yiddish into it. It mixes Hebrew, and you have to just catch it, know what's going on. But Yosher is, he was being just with him. So it wasn't from a side of justice that they brought back Yiftach. They needed him. That's why they brought him back. But they weren't saying, "Hey, Tzaddik, we love you. We know we made a mistake and we want you to back." They're saying, "Hey, you know what? We need you, a little Shmendrik. We need Shmendrik. Not Shmendrik, but yeah, we need you back." Okay, so what happens? If Vayomru Yiftach, and they said to Yiftach, "Lecha kam vayitalanu lekatzin." And you will be to us a katzin, a leader. So they translate that, whereas he doesn't. Okay, we don't. The katzin is like a leader or something. How does he say it? He's a chief. Chief. And then you come to this be a leader, a chief, and v'nila chama b'vnei Ammon, and fight for us against Ammon. Okay, and we will fight. Okay, we will fight. Fine, we will fight in Bnei Ammon. So become the chief. And so he says, now the Malbim says there's a difference between the head and the chief, Rosh and Katzin. They didn't say come back and be our head. They said come back and be our katzin. So he says there's a difference. Hakatzin, the chief, who made biksei hamachaneh, he's the one who stands at the edge of the camp as a result of his importance and his greatness in strength, or his money, or his wisdom. And also, Eshe'eno Rosh Moshaleim, he's also not the head and the ruler over them. Like the word is come and be our katzin, come and be our end. In other words, be the chief with us.
Like a general, maybe.
Again, he's not even a general. He's
military leader. It says.
Oh yeah,
military leader. Okay, but what he's saying is, but you're not our ruler. Okay. V'hine gam lo dibru ito. And they also didn't speak with him about his reward until after the milchama, after the war. Rak al ata, only on now. So Amru sheyehu b'kseihem. They said to him that you will be their, that he would be their chief. Bitzad chashivuto, because of his importance. V'kihu gibor mikulam, because he was stronger than all of them. L'chach Amru, and that's why they said. And we will fight against Bnei Ammon, Balashon Rabim, in the language of the many. Because the katzin, this chief, is not somebody who they give who they credit the victory to alone. Because in the war, they're all equal to him. But he's just standing at the head, at the extreme. Okay, so it's interesting. They're coming to him and saying, Gilad, you're a strong guy. You are, as you said in the first verse, he's a Gibor Chayil. He's a strong and valiant man. They kicked him away. Suddenly they need him. They say, you know what, come back and be our Katzin. We don't want to be our Rosh. We're not interested because if you're the Rosh, then you take over. We're all equal. Okay, that's what they're saying.
It makes sense, really. He was apparently, like I said, he had his own wealth, or he was just perceived as a very strong personality and could gather people.
Well, he obviously does gather people because people come to him.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason they're coming to him, they come to him. And so fine. So Vayomer Yiftach l'ziknei Gilad. So Yiftach said to the elders of Gilad, Hello, atem seneitem oti. Surely you hated me. Or it could be, surely you hate me, because he's talking to them, right? So it's interesting that even though, did you not hate me? Didn't you hate me? Surely you didn't. Okay. Vatigarshuni mi beit avi, and you drove me from the house of my father. Why are you coming to me now? When you have problems. You don't like me. So what do you want from me? So V'yomer Yiftach Heishiv Lachem, he answered them, how can you say that I will be a katzin because of my importance, as is to say that you didn't call me because of the need, only because of my importance and because you loved me? Surely you hated me, and that's why you drove me away from my father's house, because I am low and despised near you. This is Zud Shenich, and this is the second She'im Ha'item Ba'im Elai Be'et Shalove. The second thing is, if you would have come to me in the time of peace, I would have been mochel. I would have forgiven you on your transgression. But now that you come to me only when you are in distress, where you don't have charat, you don't have regret on what you did, and you didn't do it from love or from importance. Only you were forced. So why should I go to help you for nothing, without reward, as if there is a covenant of peace between us, which is not? So, it's very interesting. We're talking family here. Bottom line, we're talking family. The only thing that separates them is the mother. The commonality is they have a father. And so they're stepchildren, I'm guessing. They're stepbrothers. That's what you call a stepbrother, right? Okay, so so now they kick him away because they don't want him to inherit, and suddenly they come into problems, and they say, brother!
Yeah.
You're so important, you're such a nice guy, and he says, don't give me the baloney. If it was and the logic that the Malbim is saying is so beautiful. If you would have come in a time of peace, I would have said, you have charata, you have regret for what you did. That's charata. You would have had regret for what you've done, and I would have been mochel you. I would have forgiven you, no problem. I understand money talks. We all know money. We all understand the problems of money. I would be willing to mochel you. But the fact of the matter is, now you're under attack. You're forced to come to me. But you're not willing to even say that. If you would have told me, hey, we're in trouble your whole life, we need your help, I would have understood. I would have known. Okay, so you would have offered me money, and we would have figured out what we can do. And, that's what mercenaries are all about. Yeah. But you didn't. You came with all the baloney, oh, you're so important, you're this and that. So the answer is no, leave me alone. I'm not interested. But you want to pay me, I'm not interested. Okay. Now, you have to ask yourself, was Yiftach wrong here too?
Well, they threw him out. They said didn't want him.
But was Yiftach wrong? Put that aside for a second. I'm going to ask you I'm going to stop the text. I'm going to stop the storyline. Those who know the story. But let's stop the story for a second. Was Yiftach wrong to get revenge? So what does the Torah say? Again, let's go from Torah. Let's go from Torah. People like to do this. People get all upset by something that happens, and they take revenge.
In the family. Right?
In the family.
Yeah.
The family. Or in the community. Yeah. Doesn't matter where they are. We're all family, right? So we're all family. So now somebody decides, I'm going to do something. And, okay, so we're taught by our rabbis, we're taught by our tradition, we're taught by our Torah, we're not allowed to hold a grudge, we're not allowed to get revenge. God commanded that. God himself said, Lo tikom, lo titor. You can't get revenge, you can't hold a grudge. So here, somebody comes to me, somebody did something wrong to me, and I'm not supposed to say to him, well, when I wanted your help, you didn't help me. When I wanted this, you didn't help me, so now I'm not going to do it. That's pure revenge. Or, you know what? When I want something, you said no, but I'm not going to be like you. That's holding a grudge. The answer is not allowed to do both these things. So now they come to Yiftach. Again, let's assume that he's Jewish in this picture. Let's assume there's no problem with his, let's assume the Zona is, as the Ralbag wants to say, somebody that's just not from the same tribe. Let's go with that. He's Jewish, or he's brought up in the Jewish world, whatever the case is going to be. Let's assume he's Jewish here. And he has a Torah to follow. So if that's the case, and by the way, it seems that he is Jewish, by how the story unfolds. It seems he is Jewish. So if that's the case, now when his brothers, who were wrong, clearly wrong to do what they did, what does he do? He says, I won't do it. That seems to be against Torah. Again, he's going to be one of our judges. Yiftach is one of our judges. He's one of our shoftim. Here's one of our judges seemingly going against Torah. Why would you do that? You're asked to do something. Your family, greater family, is under attack. Certainly your immediate family is under attack by Bnei Ammon. Your town is in trouble. So why are you going to say no to that? Why are you going to start arguing with your brothers? Hey, if you would have come to me in this time, I would have been mochel you. Since you didn't, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to hold a grudge on you. Doesn't make sense. You hear what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think we have to look at. I'm not going to condemn Yiftach. Again, I'm just looking at stopping the picture here and saying what really happened. What really should his response have been? In other words, if it would have been you and me, should we have overcome that sort of foolishness and said, of course we'll help. You're in problems, we'll help, and let's just get it done. And then we can deal with our squabbles later. If we really decide to do it. I know why you're really coming to me. You're really coming to me because I'm a strong guy, because I know how to fight. Yeah. And that's why you're offering me katzin. You're not offering me heads. I understand that. So let's get it done. But let's understand something else. Our personal war isn't over. You stole from me. You have to reconcile with me. That I'm not forgiving you for. I'm not forgiving you because I don't have to. That's money. As far as your stupidity, okay, we'll have to deal with that later. But you're in trouble, so of course I have to go with you. I have no choice. But he doesn't say that. He's saying, let's talk tachlis. What do you want to pay me? Okay, so I'm saying it seems to be that he's going against Torah. Again, who am I to talk? I'm centuries later, but what I think the reason that again, I'm pretty sure Shmuel's the one who's writing this, that he writes these stories down, is for us to look at and say, if I was in his place, what would I have done? And more than that, when I am in his place, and we all are in Yiftach's place every single time somebody does something wrong to us, and we stand on ceremony, and we say we won't come. I mean, many times when I was in other shtelers, when I was in other places, people would say, he did this to me and I won't come to Minyan anymore. What does Minyan have to do with that? Yeah. What does this synagogue have to do with your personal fight? Okay. What does God have to do with your personal fight, bottom line? It has nothing to do with your personal fight. But you're being like Yiftach. You're not seeing reason. And you're asking, you only want me for this. You only want me for my money. There was one guy who, I remember this guy, I won't say his name. excited. I don't even remember his name anymore, actually. But he came to Shul only on Yom Kippur, Kol Nidre. And what they would do is they would, Kol Nidre in the Shul, they would always get your money. They would make a whole, because that's the day everybody's here. So they'd ask for donations. Boom, we're going to get you right then and there. And go around, how much you want to give?
Yeah.
He would give $5,000 every year. $5,000, which was not a small chunk of change. $5,000. And it's certainly in that town. He potentially could have afforded more, but who knows? He gave a lot of money. And this is what happened. So somebody said to him, are you coming to Shul this year? He said, no, I already gave you $5,000. You don't need me to come to Shul anymore. That's all you wanted from me anyway. You only my $5,000 here. Leave me alone. I don't want to come to Shul anymore. Yeah. Something happened. Somebody angered him. So he took, again, so I was thinking, do you hear what you're doing? You're taking it out on God and yourself. You're cutting yourself off and you're giving, it wasn't the money. Yeah, the money we need. No arguments. But you missed the point. You're missing everything. And he never came back. Every year he was at the $5,000 checkout. Wow. And that was the end of it. Wow. Now, I should say, I don't know what he's doing now. He may have gone back already. But I don't think he did. He was all upset about something. I have no idea what he was upset about. But that's what happens.
Sometimes they forget what it was.
Yeah. It's half-filled McCoys. But that's what it is. You don't even know. And so it's real insanity. But that's what I'm saying. Yiftach at this point seems to be doing that. I'm holding a grudge. You held this. You hated me and you didn't tell me the truth. And blah, blah. Leave me alone. It's a simple thing. I need you to come. You're right. I don't like you. You're right. So now what do you want? You're going to come? I have to pay you to protect us? It's insanity. It's your job. Okay? So let's go. Yeah. Very good?
Yeah.
Like I said, if Yiftach comes to me in my dreams, I'll know. Say, how if you were me? Okay. So now 8. So, Vayomru Ziknei Gilad. El Yiftach. So the elders of Ziknei Gilad, the elders of Gilad said to Yiftach, Lachein, therefore, Atashavnu Elacha, you will return. You again, it should be. Let's see what he does with this. Therefore, we return to you, Velachta Imana, and you will go with us. V'nilchamta b'vnei Ammon, and you will fight with Ammon. And you will fight with the children of Ammon, right? Okay. I'll make sure I'm getting everything right here, because right. Va'ita lanu l'rosh, and you will be for us the leader. L'chol yoshvei Gilad, so all the inhabitants of Gilad. So apparently Gilad, by the way, to answer your other question, Gilad is a township. The man was Gilad. If he had so much money, they called it Gilad. Just like Tov, they called it Tov, so also a place called Gilad. You understand? Mr. Arnstein. You asked, why was he called the Giladi? Yeah. So apparently there's a town called Gilad. Because you have Yoshvei Gilad. So he could have been the chieftain of the town, who's now passed away, and they just call it by that, but like Pennsylvania. Right, because it's named after Penn.
Penn's Forest.
Penn's Forest, right? Right. So they named it Penn, and is that the only state that's named after a person? No, I'm testing your geography out here. Yeah.
How about Georgia?
Okay, could be.
King George. Yeah.
There you go.
Virginia.
Yeah, who's Virginia after?
The Queen.
Oh, really?
Queen of England.
There you go. There you go. So you have places like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go on. So now the Malbim says in this. Let's continue with the Malbims here. Here it is. Right, so they say you shouldn't think like this. They say that we came to you now by ourselves to show our great humility and our great love. I'm sorry. You shouldn't think this way, because we came to you now by ourselves to show you humility, great humility, and tremendous love. Because if it was because we were forced, then it would have been enough to send after you. So the mere fact that we came to you, Gilad, shows that we love you. Otherwise we would just have the messenger. Bring Gilad back. And ve'alachta, and you will go like you are going with us. And you will be the head for all the inhabitants of Gilad. Lo lanu ba'im avivad. You're not only coming for us, ki im lekulam. You're coming for everyone. See, here's I'm going to be the head. Very nice. Rosh. Yeah. No longer the katzin. Anam the Rosh. The Omer Yiftach al Zikne Gilad. So Yiftach says to the elders of Gilad, Im Mashivan atem oti lehilachem v'nei Yis Amon. If you return with me, sorry. If you return with me, if you bring me back, okay. If you cause me to return with you to fight Bnei Ammon, and v'natan Hashem otam lefanai, and Hashem will give them before me. Anochi elechem l'rosh. I will be to you for a leader or for a head. So you understand? You will become. They're saying you will be head. So then it says, "I bring you, then I will become your head." So what's going on there? Im ashif, and he says, "Im yigmor hadavar ve'elech milchama." If we finish this thing, and I go to war, and Hashem gives him to me, then I me'atzmi, from myself. I myself, because of what I've done, will be your head mitzad hadin, from the law, from the side of justice. They're saying, remember they're coming and saying, and this is what he's arguing. They're saying to him, "You come back and you'll be the head." He says, "No, excuse me. If I come back and Hashem gives the people into my hands, by law, I'm your Rosh. You're not doing me any favors. Understand?
They want him to fight for them,
and we'll make you the head. He says, "No, that's not how it works. If I do it and Hashem gives me, I am the head. You're not doing me any favors." So he says, wrote to them, right now, he says, still there is no hachna v'chiba. There's still no humility and dearness, like you said that you want me to rule you after the war, because certainly if I will be victorious, you will not be desirous to have me rule over you. If I am victorious, behold, by law it would be fitting for me to have this rulership, as if to say, he's saying it's not so. Because immediately before the war, you should crown me. I should rule. You should, right? Because if immediately before the war you would rule over me, so that would be something else. You would cause me to. I would be caused to rule over you. So it's like that, right?
So he's saying that.
This image is done. Okay, yeah, sorry.
You're just saying this to me because you may change your mind again. In other words, I'm right. Reminding you what it's supposed to really be, and you might otherwise you might change your mind,
right?
And not just throw me back out again after I beat them.
Right. Correct. Okay, we'll have to stop here. I'm really over time. Sorry about that.